Then the mind, body, the breath becomes even more peaceful. At that level, mind experiences the feeling of friendliness. Friendliness feeling is so gentle and soft that no anger or resentment can get close to it. The mind dominates with friendly feeling, and then resentment slowly fades away, disappears from our mind. And then these are very good situations where greed is no longer there, hatred is no longer there. The body, the breath, and the mind are calm, relaxed, and peaceful. In that state, sometimes you may feel so calm that you feel asleep. Don't let the mind be sluggish with sleepiness and drowsiness. This is the moment we have to arouse our energy, effort, and try to ward off any sleepiness. When mind is active, sleepiness has away. The opposite of sleepiness can arise, that is restlessness and worry, which is caused by letting mind go to the past or to the future. When the mind goes to the past, it brings all the past experiences, things that has been undone, not done correctly, or halfway, incompletely, or mind goes to the future, planning and thinking for the future. As we mentioned, planning for the future may be good for material functioning, material things, jobs, and various things. But for this spiritual practice, we have to restrain ourselves not to get involved in future plans and so forth. All this you can do after your meditation. So mind should remain in the present moment. Present moment also is fleeting moment, rising and falling moment. What is rising and falling in the present moment is our breath, feelings, perceptions, thought, and consciousness. They keep constantly changing, rising and falling, rising and falling. There is no one single moment, even a fraction of a moment, that is something fixed or static. Every fraction of a moment, something or other is changing, appearing and disappearing. We can notice this. Then the mind becomes more and more calm, more relaxed, more peaceful. And then you begin to have some doubt about your own achievement, practice, success. The question may arise in your mind whether or not you can be successful. However, since you have already been successful by overcoming your greed, anger, sleepiness, restlessness and worry. And then you have confidence that you have been able to do it. You can do it. You have confidence in the Buddha who introduced this wonderful system. You can have confidence in the Dhamma, which is the teacher of the Buddha. You can have confidence in the holy community that follows this Dhamma and attain what they have attained. And you are following their footsteps. And you also can gain the same attainment. With this confidence, having overcome all your hindrances, having confidence, you become full of joy, happiness. When you are happy, you can gain concentration. Happy mind gains concentration. This happiness is not excitement or like any other ordinary happiness. This is more calming, soothing happiness. When it arises, you gain concentration. Even concentration is not going to make you like a vegetable. In this concentration, there is mindfulness. When so long as mindfulness is there, concentration remains very alert, active. So with this concentration, you can experience the most subtle things, subtlest changes in the body, feelings, perceptions, thought, and consciousness. These are all you have to see impermanent, nothing else. Whatever you hear, see, smell, touch, taste, think, everything is changing. With this, we continue to pay more attention to these changes of our breath, feelings, perceptions, thought, and consciousness. We notice it without verbalizing or conceptualizing. And let us continue this practice for the rest of this session till I ring the little bell. Shashank? Shashank?
Yes, Bhante, I can hear you and everybody can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, you're on.
Hello?
Prashant?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah, Bhante Ji is trying to talk with you.
Yes.
Don't object. Well, Teddy, all you.
मैं कर म्यूट अनम्यूट कर By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, friends, you can ask me questions. Is
Yes, Bhante.
Prashant is there?
Yes, Bhante. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can repeat the questions
Sure, Bhante.
a little louder.
Sure, Bhante. So, Bhante, the one question is, Bhante, you gave 5 conditions for the unwholesome action of killing. If one kills a being, such as a tick, that can transmit serious disease, not because one really wants to deprive that being of life, but to protect one's own life or that of others. Does that still meet the conditions of killing?
If one kills oneself, it is also killing. Actually, you fulfill all the 5 conditions by killing yourself. What are the conditions? You have to know that you are a living being, and you are a living being. That is number 1. Number 2 is that your knowledge that you are a living being. Number 3 is killing. Number 4 is using some method and killing yourself. These are the 5 conditions. So you fulfill all the conditions perfectly well, and you have committed 100% unwholesome killing karma. Unwholesome killing karma. So committing suicide is a very, very bad unwholesome karma. That falls into the same category as whether you kill somebody else or kill yourself. And the results will be exactly the same. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Bhante, next question is, this person is sharing, I feel uncomfortable when someone speaks of another person in a critical way and continues to go on and on. I feel it is unwholesome to do so as it is not practicing right speech. Could you please advise how to respond in such a situation? Am I making bad karma for myself by listening?
Could you repeat the question? I was distracted by something
Sure,
else.
Bhante.
Yeah.
Sure, Bhante. The question is, I feel uncomfortable when someone speaks of another person in a critical way and continues to go on and on. I feel it is unwholesome to do so as it is not practicing right speech. Could you please advise how to respond in such a
I think
situation?
It's also a good question. If the other person is your friend, you can right away stop it and tell that friend, please let us talk about Dhamma. Let us talk about something good. Talking about bad of other people is not going to help you, me or he or her, him or her. It's not going to help anybody. Let us think of something wholesome, something good, something that both of us can be benefited. Uh, Moreover, if you say bad about that person even does not know what you are saying. And your intention has to be very, if you have intention to, what you call, correct the person, this is not the way to correct him. Either you stop talking bad about that person, or you think in a very friendly way how to help the person. And if you like to go and talk to that person, you talk to that person in a very friendly way, telling him or her, my dear friend, if he's a friend or her friend. Otherwise, I mean, normally you don't talk about somebody uh, unknown to you. You just mere repeating what you have heard from somebody else. In that case, you cannot do anything. I think the best thing in that case, don't say anything about such a person. If you talk bad about somebody whom you know well, then try a very friendly way of talking to that person in a very nice way, and suggest that person something positive, wholesome, meaningful, and then encourage that person to do that. Giving some positive suggestion, positive opinions, positive ideas, so that person might listen to you and then correct that person's weaknesses. I think that's what the person has to do. If you have to do, uh, give that advice. Okay?
Bhante, next question is it breaking, it is a breaking of a precept when someone sings devotional suttas for an upasaka, or nun? Like, is it for someone who is an upasika or nun? If she sings devotional suttas, is it a breaking of precepts?
Breaking the precept of what?
Like, nun are supposed to not to have a sing or dance or participate in hearing to the music. But if this particular nun or upasika sings suttas, is it a Vinaya offense?
You see, if you observe the precept, 8 precepts, and you in your place, you hear somebody singing, or when you are doing something else, maybe you are meditating and you can hear music in the neighborhood, outside your house or inside your house, you are not breaking the precept, because you have no intention to sing. Intention is the very important thing. When the singing voice touch your eardrums, you can do 2 things. One of the 2 things, those 2 things may not be very pleasant, very palatable to many people. Buddha said very bluntly, singing is just like crying. Crying. So somebody may be crying in a certain way to console oneself. You might think like that way. Or is this singing is impermanent? It appears and disappears, hits my eardrums and disappears. I want to continue my mindfulness practice. Let the person sing or whatever do. However, there is a story of in Samyutta Nikaya commentary that when 60 monks walking in a forest towards certain area, they heard a girl's voice. Normally, women's voice is pleasing to men. These all were men, the monks. First they did not understand the words, but heard the sound of a girl. As they moved on, they recognized words, and these words are composed of Dhamma. This girl was singing something about Dhamma, maybe impermanence, unsatisfactoriness or something. They were listening to this message. Now since they can hear the word, they began to understand the words and then began to see the message and contemplated on the message. And it is said that they all were meditating monks. Since they heard this voice of Dhamma sung by a woman, they contemplated on the Dhamma message and they all attained enlightenment. This we see in Samyutta Nikaya commentary. And therefore, if you can use the song as a part of your meditation, then it's okay. But if you listen to it and just try to arouse your sense pleasure, then you are breaking that precept of abstaining from singing, dancing. And also the precept says that you do not sing, you do not dance, you do not play music. You have no control of what other people do. So other people can sing and dance and so forth. That is their business. But you abstain from participating in them actively and do what they do. Okay?
Bhante, I just follow-up question. I find like chanting at Bhavna, like with all from the monks, very melodious and very pleasant. Is it any way we are breaking the monks are breaking the precept or what?
No, chanting is one thing. Chanting the Buddha's message, Buddha's qualities with very devotional feeling to arouse our saddha, our faith, our confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. I think this is permitted. Arousing our faith in the Buddha, devotional singing. At the same time, you gain concentration, and then you may gain into deep mindfulness. There are 5 ways of attaining enlightenment. One of the ways is chanting the particularly selected discourse. And therefore what we are doing is is chanting discourses delivered by the Buddha in order to arouse our saddha, our faith, confidence in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. We are not doing it just to arouse our sensual pleasure.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Now, another question. When we recite metta, we say, as a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child. With that, do we mean that we need to look at everyone and feel love as a mother would feel about her child? Or do we try to keep the metta feeling?
That was a very good question. Actually, in a practical sense, no mother can love every child exactly like her own mother, child. No mother. A father, somebody, for instance, doesn't have children at all. But that person can have the metta thought. What Buddha meant is the metta is your child. Metta is your child. And you protect that child even at the risk of your life. That means you practice metta so diligently, you are so deeply committed to metta, and you protect it. You protect your metta with mindfulness. I tell you a very simple story of there was a woman called Samavati. She taught metta. She had metta retreat every week. 500 women attended that retreat. So another woman who was jealous of her got her people and poured oil around the building that the Samavati was practicing metta with other women, pour oil and set fire to that building. And everybody was dying in that fire. Then Samavati said very loudly, "Sisters, this is the time to practice metta. Don't damage your metta practice. Keep your mind totally focused on your metta practice. Don't have a very tiny little iota of anger in your mind. This is the moment. We must remain fully committed to metta practice." So they all died in metta practice. They risked their life. They have no way to escape, but they kept the metta completely intact. They did not damage their metta. That is the kind of metta that we want to practice, that Buddha wanted us to practice just like a mother. See, even situation like this, mother would hug the child when everything is in fire. You cannot do anything. You protect your child. Similarly, our metta is our child. Everybody, I don't have children, but my metta is my child. Like that, we must understand the meaning of this word very clearly. Okay?
Bhante, next question is, sometimes when you see another's achievement, you get motivated, not having jealous mind, and try to achieve something in your life as well. Is it an unwholesome thought?
No, if somebody is doing something good, you try to follow it and instead of having jealousy, you are doing something very good. I think that is very good way of doing it. On the other hand, if somebody is doing something very, very bad, you learn from that and you do just the opposite of it. Because you see, when somebody is doing bad, you can see how that person suffers from that bad deed, bad thought and bad word. So you don't want to follow that example. You follow just the opposite. If somebody is killing, you must determine, I would never kill. If somebody is stealing, you decide, I never steal, and so forth. Whenever somebody breaks all the precepts, we try not to break them. If somebody is doing very good things, we think this is a wonderful thing, I also must follow that person's example. Okay?
Okay, there's a follow-up question on this. Like suppose someone is having covetousness, how one can try to overcome covetousness? How should we reflect on that? What is the wise reflection?
I think restlessness, as I mentioned earlier, arises from thinking of the past or thinking of the future. And Buddha very clearly instructed us, don't think of the past, you will be restless. Don't plan for the future, you will be restless. In order to overcome restlessness, we have to focus our mind on what we are doing right now. Focus my entire mind on the present moment, fleeting moment. In the present moment, we can, whatever we do, we can see the present moment. Present moment is in the breath. We are breathing. Just return to your breath. Anytime you are agitated, excited, full of restlessness, just relax and relax and relax. Focus your mind on the breath. You have to do it deliberately. Take few deep breaths. Deep inhaling, deep exhaling, again deep inhaling, focusing your entire mind on your breath. Then soon you will realize the agitation and restlessness gone, faded away and disappeared. And then you feel you are gaining concentration. You feel peaceful. You feel relaxed. And most people don't know how to relax. When we ask them to relax, they get more agitated, more restless by trying to be relaxed. You cannot force yourself to relax. You have to relax by relaxing. Then restlessness will slowly fade away. That is a very practical advice that the Buddha has given us.
Okay, and how about overcoming covetousness?
Covetousness,
Yeah.
covetousness is beauty, others' achievement, others' property, whatever belongs to somebody else. You become very greedy for that particular thing. That's called covetousness. And therefore, to overcome that, we have to think in terms of Dhamma. We must think, if somebody is very beautiful, think that this person is at certain age. In certain age, almost everybody is beautiful. Boys and girls, all at certain age. This is the nature of this age. That is number one. Number two, if that person is exceptionally beautiful, think this person must have done very good karma in the past. Number three, you must think this person's mind is relaxed, mind is calm, peaceful, maybe meditating. These, these are the three reasons. And then practice mudita. Mudita is appreciative joy, one of the four Brahmaviharas. Metta, Karuna, Mudita. And mudita is appreciative joy. We practice that, and then we may not feel jealous every time, not only once. All of a sudden, all this won't disappear. But every time a jealousy arises in your mind, you think that way. Sometimes two people are competing for one object. Two people are competing for one object, and one fellow get it. You being jealous of that person is not going to help him or her or you. You have to think, well, that person works harder than me, so that person deserves what the person got. I may have some weaknesses which I don't know. My physical conditions may not be right. So I accept what I got. This is what is called contentment. Contentment, Buddha said, Appichasa and Dhammo Nayandhammo Maichasa. Santutasa and Dhammo Nayandhammo Asantutasa. When one is content with whatever the person gets, that person is always happy. If the person is over ambitious, that person is always unhappy, over ambitious. Of course, in the mundane world, in the material world, people have some ambition, but it has to be within their own limit. If they try to step out of their boundary, limited boundary, then they will be in trouble. So, jealousy can control by wisdom, by thinking, practicing meditation, practicing understanding. I said at the very beginning of my talk in this series, understanding is the key word. We do not understand our situation, our conditions, our ability, our skillful, our limitations. We don't understand. When we don't understand, we become jealous. So we have to understand our condition, other person's conditions. We have to understand, we have to think that other person deserves this more than I do, because the person might have done even more exercises in that area. There are many things to think of letting that other person have whatever the person has. You think that person deserves it. Good karma. Mind state is very good. This person's upbringing is very good. And so many things you can attribute to the success of the other person. And it doesn't mean that you look down upon yourself, you develop an inferior mental state, inferiority complex, and so forth. Not that. You just accept it as it is. Accepting contentment, patience, understanding, mindfulness, mudita, all these are wonderful tools to combat our jealousy. I think if there is any more question that can answer by saying yes or no, you can ask that question.
Bhante, then we will just take that question which is on intentional killing tick. But how about same thing about taking antibiotics? We take antibiotics to get rid of disease.
Antibiotic, I think if we go to that kind of extremes, you even cannot wash your body with soap. Because every time you wash your body, you kill microbes on the skin, under your armpits, and so forth. And therefore, we don't try to go to that extreme. You cannot cultivate lands. You cannot eat raw vegetable, raw fruit. All of them have microbes. You cannot even drink water because even in the water there are microbes. So Buddha always advises us not to go to extremes. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Now, friends, once again, I want to end this session wishing all those who are in hospitals taken care of by very compassionate doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs. May they recover very quickly and return to very normal life and continue their practice and attain liberation. And also those doctors who are so compassionately, and doctors, nurses, and hospital staff so compassionately risking their own life, take care of these people. May they continue their compassionate service and live long without any sickness to render their service to more and more people. And there are people who lost their loved ones. I'm pretty sure they were grieving, and we want to wish them to understand Dhamma and be free from grief and return to their normal life and continue their Dhamma practice. And there are people who have very generously supported the doctors, hospitals, and patients, organizations, and so forth. Let them continue their wonderful service, generous practice, and live long in very good health. Overall, leaders who have taken a lot of courage, determination, understanding to give leadership, to encourage people to take vaccinations and taking all the preventive measures to stay healthy without affected by this virus. And overall, I want to wish all of them and you for having these wonderful thoughts. You all will be very happy, healthy, and peaceful. May all of you live in good health and attain liberation. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Prashad.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Tiruvang Sarani.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Teruan
Bhante.
Saranai.
Thank you. Teruvan Saranai.